All right, this will be the fast version of the slingshot trap tutorial. You should be able to kind of follow along, but I won't spell out every single click. What you're going to do is draw. You're going to start off by drawing the pillars. You can draw them long, thin, and tall, and that's a box entity. Then using Control and Alt, and then Shift to drag, you'll get a straight drag out for the second one. So multi-select, Control and Alt, make a shared copy. Bring this up a little bit. Control and Alt. Once you've got them, Shift, bring them into a box. Now these objects are not, they will be movable, so they won't, you'll need to make them immovable by selecting them all. Selecting rigid body, go movable false. Now they are going to be sturdy. So let's build the platform. Platform like so, just a small lip to it, and just a little bit of height. Bring it up so that it's basically level with the top, so that's fine. Now we're going to do entities rope. Rope wants two selections, two rigid bodies, so that rigid body and that. We will continue. We'll do each side. You'll notice that the more you do this, oops, I have to select entities again and select, oh, it's on rope. You'll notice that when you do this several times, that the more symmetrical you make it, the cleaner your bounce will be. Meaning that this thing will shoot up more straight and launch the ball up a little bit more straight. Excellent. So, this is pretty good springiness. So I'm going to take a look at, come here. I think it should be a little springier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all the ropes. I'm going to make them a bit springier. So under the rope selection, I've got reduce the amount of stretchiness down to sub 0.2. And then maybe I'll make them a little bit shorter. So under the mesh model, under the cylinder shape, I'm going to make its height a little bit shorter and shorten those ropes. I should get a pretty tight snap. Yeah, that looks plenty strong, almost too strong. Let's go with it though. So holding shift, I'm going to pull it all the way to the ground. And I'm going to flatten it out using control to kind of rotate it. And that's good right there. And then what I'm going to do is make this rigid body not movable. You'll notice that the green lines are around my screen. That means we're in pause time. So in order to make this move commit, I need to commit this transform using Control plus T. All right, so pressing play, we go into playtime, and you'll see that the ropes resolve their tension to meet the platform. The platform is fixed. Its rigid body is movable false. And now we just need to build a ramp and the trigger and our playable ball. All right, so the ramp is an entity. Let's actually build in stop time here. The ramp is an entity known as wedge. So we'll come down here. Let's build it on this side, like so, and it comes off in that fashion. So we'll rotate it 90 degrees about, fine tune the rotation just to meet this box. And great, we've got a ramp. Let's go ahead and fix the rigid body of the ramp, and we'll call that good. We'll come in from the right side, so we're going to build our rollable ball over here on the side, which is an actor movable ball. And he's going to roll up just fine. Okay. I might move the ramp just a little bit to the side so that when it becomes active, it doesn't lift it off the ground just a little bit, just so that when it becomes active, it's not fighting against the rigid body of the nearby ramp or the terrain. So we're ready to roll. Let's put a trigger in there. We're going to use the box trigger. So we'll select triggers, box. We're going to draw it from the back left corner to the front right corner, about like so. It's offset a little bit, so that's fine. We can always rotate it to align it. And what I recommend maybe is shrink this down just a little bit, and we'll have it in the center. So I'm toggling that, as you can see, with W, E, R, and T. And the rollable ball is moved around with W, A, S, and D. Just to remind you, yeah, you can see it over here. Okay, so the one piece of script that we need in the trigger is as follows. So the trigger, we're gonna modify its on enter event. So that's here. Let's get the script window sort of manageably sized. And we'll put it here for now. And on enter, I want to do something to something. Well, the thing we want to do something to is this box, and in particular, its rigid body. We want to set this movable to true right here. So let's do that, movable. Its rigid body, so rigid body dot movable equals true. Of course, match this name. This basically accesses the object and gives it and stores it under this variable. And then its property, the movable property, we set to true by doing this. Remember, these over here, and you'll see in the documentation, they're all handled in camel case. Lower first letter, the first letter is lowercase, and then any second word will be capitalized and all strung together. So when the ball enters it, or when anything enters it, this rigid body, which is the rigid body of the box underneath, is going to be set to true. Let's give it a shot using W, A, S, and D. Zoom out and using A mainly to fire in there. Ooh, that was a little fast. This might be too strong to catch. Okay. Wow. It's very strong. Say what? Oh. That's pretty awesome. So I can multi-select by lassoing while holding down control. And I'm going to maybe loosen these up just a tiny bit. Ease off the stretchiness now. This will be a little bit more fun. And teach you one final thing here, which may be enjoyable. Right now, you can set up a thing on the main camera to follow this movable actor. It is by default, when you place it, the most recently placed actor is set as the player node for this viewport, and I can set this camera to follow those player controllers as follows. These things: tracking, player controller, viewport, and chase. So if I put the tracking player control on it, my camera will pivot to follow that ball. So in playtime, the actor works as well. I can use W, A, S, and D, and you'll see that camera kind of following me if I come out here into the far distant desert. This camera follows along. So you can build up a whole game kind of radially around that camera. Woo! Far enough away I missed that shot. Oh boy. There we go. And it's a little slow to respond. But you can set all those controls here on this the tracking player controller. You have all of these: autofocus, auto zoom, tilt, the speed. You could increase the speed and it'll follow it. That's something cool to play with. The last thing I'll encourage you to play with are the player controls on the ball itself, the movable object actor. So if you go to those properties here, you can crank up its power and its maximum speed, and you'll see this thing starts to move a lot more quickly and becomes a lot more responsive. too responsive, in fact. But yeah, here you go. That's the fast version. Hope you enjoyed it.